Hey y'all, this is Charlie Cope and I'm back on the Garrett Smith podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It has been a hot minute. This is episode 49 of the Garrett Smith podcast, and for I believe the second time ever, we have a repeat guest. We have Charlie Cope. Charlie, how's it going?
I'm good, Garrett. How are you?
Doing pretty well. I feel like two or three times we've wanted to make this one happen. So it's kind of like, yes, we finally got to secure the return episode. I think you and AJ Gell are the only two who have been on here twice, I think.
Well, I'm honored.
There we go. Well, now he's going to call me back. I got to come back for a third one.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you have been busy lately, and before we went on to the episode, y'all, I was actually just looking over the list Charlie posted the other day of all the upcoming songs he's going to be putting out, and I've got to ask, how long has it taken you to put all these songs together?
7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, we were talking a minute ago about the upcoming volume of songs I've been working on with my band, and to me, it's like, okay, I just put out 1 and 2, so it probably hadn't been that long that I've been working on these. And I think about it, it's like, you know, it's been probably 3 or 4 years, and it happens before you know it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I guess the first song on here that was ever written was actually Whiskey Ain't Talkin'. That's the oldest song on here, or at least the original version was, I guess was about 3 years old or so. But like the stories from behind these songs, behind this album, it started 13 years ago. I'm sorry, when I was 13 years old, not 13 years ago. I would have been 7 years old. That would be a long time.
People are doing quick math in their head.
Yeah. For those of you that are bad at math, I'm 20. And just been working. I mean, I started playing music when I was about 14 or so. And, just this story started when I was about 13 years old. So it was give or take. It's been in the works ever since.
Of all these songs, which one have you just been bursting at the seams to get out there? Like, are there any that are several years old that you've just been dying to see come to light and they're finally about to?
Oh, well, they're actually all a couple of years old. I wrote most of these back in 2019, a few of them beforehand even. But man, there's a single one that I don't think I want the world to hear, or I don't want the world to hear.
I fit in the other category. I've written some songs where I'm like, man, I don't ever want the world to hear this one.
Oh yeah, I have some of those too.
Well, last time you were on here, I know it was kind of like COVID had kind of reared its ugly head, not been around that long, and here we are, a year past all that, and I'm kind of wondering, back then we talked about plans and goals, things you'd like to do when the pandemic's over, and what are some things you've gotten to do since Texas has kind of opened back up?
Honestly, I haven't really stopped. I mean, you follow my stuff a lot, so you've probably seen. I have not stopped at all. I've, even with quarantine, I guess, like you said, when we did that first episode, quarantine just started, or kind of just started. I was on tour at the time, my first completely solo tour. And What About You had just came out, the first single from this album. I mean, I haven't stopped, but I've played with, a ton of really awesome musicians. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, Rich O'Toole, just, a few days ago in South Texas Tweak. And, I've played with, Parker McCollum and, jazz bands and country bands and rock bands and people I even look up to. And it's been a very long year, but it's also been a pretty freaking awesome year too.
Man, I really thought you were going to say after playing with Parker that it's been a hell of a year. I was waiting on the pun.
Oh.
Well, what was it like though to get to play with those guys? I mean, the Rich O'Toole show was just like last week.
I mean, it depends on the show, but like some of them, like when I was on tour, sometimes I'd have 2 shows a day, so I couldn't stick around. There was a couple of times, I think in the Hill Country, when I had like 3 shows a day.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually worked myself sick when I was in the Hill Country. I think it was 13 shows in 8 days, I think. And like Hill Country to San Antonio kind of area. It was fun and all, but it was god awful.
I play about 3 a month and get worn out.
Yeah.
I look at these like national touring acts that it's kind of like, all right, we're in South Dakota today, Florida tomorrow, and Alaska the next. It's just kind of like bounce all over the place. I'm like, how much fuel do they burn through to do that? And energy.
Right?
It's crazy. Well, I'm going to kick this thing off with a song. And since you said Whiskey Ain't Talking is one of the first ones, I'm going to make that one of the first ones we play today.
Yeah, let's do it.
I got a reputation getting carried away. I lose control of the things I do and the things I say. The bottle starts walking and the devil starts talking you out of my head. That was the old me and he's good as dead. Whiskey ain't talking, there ain't saying I need you. It ain't the things I take or anything else I used to do. Whiskey ain't talking, ain't saying how much I care, 'cause you know that I do. Whiskey ain't talking, that's just me. Tell you what I mean, the words of this song. Whiskey ain't talking, ain't saying I need you. It ain't the things I take or anything else I used to do. Whiskey ain't talking, I ain't saying how much I care, 'cause you know that I do. Whiskey ain't talking, that's just me to you.
All right, so we've been talking about some of the songs, before we started recording this episode, and I know you've been excited to get a few of these out. So I was just going to mention a couple of them. You just got to give us the story behind them and what the song means to you. But tell us about I Really Thought We'd Make It.
That's a cool one. That was the third single we released. We released it in February of 2021. I really loved it. It was I wanted to get, because originally I was only going to release 3 songs before the album came out, but COVID happened and all floods and tornadoes and swarms of locusts and everything happened. Hellfire rained down. That sort of stuff. So the album was delayed about a year actually. And even the singles were delayed. But so we ended up doing 6 singles instead. But that was the third, and it was supposed to be the last of the first 3. And I wanted to get, just not many people know what Americana music is. And, Americana music can mean so many different things for so many different people. I wanted to kind of get the 3 main points off of this album. And I kind of felt like the 3 main points in terms of genre was like that made Americana was kind of, like rock and roll, country music, and like folk Appalachian kind of music. And I really thought We Make It was a little folkier. I didn't want to go too folky with like my song Skip Goodbye, because I was afraid that would be a little too much. And I wanted to save a lot for the album as well. I didn't want to go, too far with the singles. But I really thought We Make It is actually one of my favorites just because of the mandolin solo. I know it's weird, but Steven Sellers worked in the studio and got that mandolin solo, and I love the mandolin. And I remember while recording it, he did that. If you were to listen to it in the mandolin solo, there's like he calls it sass. I was like, "Ba-na," and then just like pauses for a second. And I remember I just like didn't like it, and he talked me into it. I was like, okay, let's see it. Maybe we'll change it later. And the more I heard it, the more I loved it, and it's now one of my favorite little instrumental pieces on the record. It's a cool tune. We got like Phoenix Abbo playing the violin on it, and he's more of a classical musician, while most of the musicians on this album are jazz musicians. And it gave like I felt like it gave a different spin on it, gave it more of a sweeter sound, sort of. And it was a cool tune. It wasn't as big of a hit as What About You or I Really Thought We Make It in terms of radio play or charts or even critical reviews, but there are still a few people that say that it's their favorite Charlie Cope song. Not that many. I think it's 1 out of 32, but
that works.
Yeah, it works. It's a little sweeter, it works for a lot of the more just kind of laid back stuff. You don't want to go full What About You all the time,
Well, somebody asked me one time, they're like, what is Americana? And I'm like, it's country for people looking to expand their algorithm. But it's really cool that you're actually doing authentic Americana, though. I mean, getting all those different instruments and influences on there, that's pretty cool because, you actually, and this is how you can tell you're a music student, is you went into kind of the roots of Americana and the history of it just briefly by talking about where it comes from. And, that I think it's cool when people really say they're going to do Americana but know what it is like you do. So I'm looking forward to hearing just kind of how the whole collection turns out.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Thank you. Folks, I'm going to let y'all know because I'm sure I'm going to make this mistake again. We're recording this before it comes out. We're releasing it as it's out. So if I say I'm looking forward to it, it's not that I'm slacking and haven't listened. By the time you're hearing this podcast, I'll have listened. So with that in mind, let's throw another one of these in here. But first, before we do that, you were talking about When It Rains, It Pours. Tell us about Big River to Cross.
Yeah, okay, so Big River to Cross is one of the more emotional tunes for the album. And there's a lot going on in that song in terms of story, lyrics, and instrumentals. And, we've been talking about instrumentals, so I guess I'll continue with that. It's one of my favorites because of the instrumentalists that are in it. I mean, obviously, also it has, great lyrics and all that. In preparation for this album, I wrote 1,200 songs, hoping to pick the top 12. And I did it in my first semester at University of North Texas, which I'm still at. So in the fall of 2019. And even with all of those songs, there is still just a couple that I wrote before that 1,200, before I got to UNT. And it was Whiskey Ain't Talkin' and Big River to Cross were those songs. I think it's just those two, actually. And it's a bit of a deep song for me. As all of these songs, it's hard for me to listen to because it's so deep with the story and it's the deepest, darkest part of my past. But it does make a great song, or at least I think. And some of the horn players, because there's a whole horn section, and we got like NJ from UNT. We all call him NJ on the trumpet. Another former UNT student, Andrew Duncan, which was he actually flew down from Colorado, I believe, to play on this record, and he has a couple amazing sax solos, beautiful work. I'm playing the piano and a guitar or two, and a bunch of the other guys that we all already know, Nick Woodhouse on the bass, Riley Wine on the drums and all. Jack Fetting on the trombone. And it was awesome because I got to play the piano, and the whole idea was just like I wanted to make it sound like it was kind of in a concert. It wasn't. It's hard to explain. I'm much better at talking in music, like with lyrics, than talking as a human being, as a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why we all do it.
Yeah.
Well, you can sing the explanation of the song to us if that makes you feel better.
That might be a little weird.
Well, I've had people ask, like, are you actually going to play my song on the podcast while I'm listening? I'm like, no, I promise I'll edit in later. Well, I'm going to go and play one here. I'm going to play I Really Thought We'd Make It, and then I'll have a question about UNT.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, I think about you a lot. How your father said I ain't worth a damn thing he got. Lord, miss it. Oh, Lord, miss it. I miss those long nights and the fights. Who done wrong? Who done right? Who's promised you're breaking? Oh, all those phone calls asking all night long who got me for all the heavy drinking. Oh, got me thinking. Oh, girl, I really thought we'd make it. Was naive. Think we made past 18. You gotta go follow your dream. So I've got mine. All those long nights and the fights. Who done wrong? Who done right? Who's promised you're breaking? Oh, all those phone calls asking all night long that got me through all the heavy drinking. Got me thinking. Oh, I miss those long nights and the fights. Who done wrong? Who done right? Who's promised you breaking? Oh, all those phone calls asking all night long that got me through the heavy drinking. Oh, it got me thinking. Oh, I really thought we'd make it.
Really thought we'd make it. So you're at UNT and you're studying music. Do you plan to just use a music degree to kind of advance what you're currently doing? Or do you have other plans like teaching music or competitions with music? What's kind of like your broad plan for when you're out of college?
Well, basically, I'm already doing it. So my college is I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but I actually don't plan to use my degree at all. I actually don't care about a degree. I'm here for information and connections. And that's exactly what I've been getting, and hopefully will continue to get.
Which means you'll probably make better use of it than a lot of people that care about the degree but aren't passionate about something.
Exactly. Yeah. But I was hoping to start touring like I am now by the year. I think the original plan, or the plan from when I was just coming to UNT, was I was supposed to start touring in 2025, I think, which is just ridiculous because I've been touring, you know. So, you know, of course the plans have changed and adapted. It was supposed to help me get on the radio and on the charts, and I'm already on the radio and I'm already on the charts. And hell, as of the time that we're recording this, the album's not even out yet. It was just UNT, or college in general, was just one of the many things that I was doing and am doing and will continue to do to continue my career. It's just kind of like one of those steps in the staircase, you know.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, it sounds like you have a pretty sound track for what you want to do, and a lot of people get to their senior year and still don't know what they want to do or if they want to change degrees. So that's pretty smart how you're going about it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it's definitely helpful. I mean, it does hurt me a little bit in terms of touring. I'm not allowed to say when yet, but there are some tour dates that we have for in the future that are actually during the semester, and that's going to be very difficult. Not this semester, later on. But it is a little difficult. It does have its problems. Of course, it's not cheap, and of course, it takes up its time. But it has helped me so far. I mean, every member of the other guys and most of the members of the extended band, the other guys, are UNT students or, you know, recent alumni. It's helped me a lot. And, you know, even though I do learn from, you know, the internet and YouTube, because it's basically just college for free, you know, on YouTube, they can't look at what you're doing and say, oh, hold up, you're not doing that right. You know, in college, they can actually do that.
Yeah. Well, I think the Mean Green should bring y'all in for part of their halftime show this fall.
Hell yeah.
That'd be awesome. And I know I said this on the last episode because not enough time has quite passed yet for me to remedy this, but it is still on my stadium bucket list to get up there and see a game at Apogee, just because you drive by on 35 and it's shaped like a bird and it just looks cool. I'm like, even though some people I know call it the Krispy Kreme end zone, because once you see that, you can't unsee it. But I would go there to see a Charlie Cope concert.
I have never heard Krispy Kreme end zone. I have never heard that.
And you'll never unsee it.
Well, now I gotta go drive by.
Well, let's talk about another song here. I'm going to throw two more titles out. Use Somebody. Tell me about that one.
Use Somebody is a pretty cool one. So Use Somebody is musically a little simpler. I've been playing that just about every show of mine. It's a great tune. It's got some. I got to play the harmonica on it, and I love playing the harmonica. And I got to play around Joseph Redding on the violin. He had a pretty awesome solo, and we had some backup vocals as well on that one, which really helps it stand out. You know, like I said, this is an Americana album, but Americana, you know, it does have rock and roll in it. You know, Let Me Go Easy, for example, is a rock and roll song, and, you know, Skip Goodbye is kind of like a folk song, and Use Somebody is one of the country songs, really and truly. And it does come from after, you know, like Whiskey Ain't Talking is about, you know, me getting sober, my alcohol addiction, my drug addiction, and Use Somebody is, you know, after that. It's the story behind it is a little sad and depressing, and but it's also kind of uplifting at the same time. And it's I've had a lot of people come up to me at shows, even though at the time that we're recording this, it's not even out yet. People will come up and tell me, you know, this is me and my girlfriend's song or whatever. And they'll tell me little stories about themselves and bring me into their lives. And I'm just thinking, like, why? Like, how the hell did you get that? Like, where'd that come from? Like, Use Somebody is nothing about that. But I actually love that because, you know, I released it into the world, and it's got a whole new meaning to those people. And that's why I'm always kind of weary to say what a song is actually about. So I just love to hear, people's new ideas and how it connects to them personally and that sort of thing. And I'd hate to take that away from them.
Well, how many instruments do you play? You mentioned harmonica. I know you play a few. What all do you play?
Shit, I don't know. Yeah, I play guitar. I play bass, which I know you also play.
Yep.
I play a little drums, although I'm not a huge fan of playing the drums. I think I've played I was in 2 backing bands where I played the drums. I play harmonica, I play piano, I play mandolin, I play banjo. Anything I can get my hands on. But one thing I've had a lot of difficulty with was violin. I get the premise of it, but it's just I don't have a violin of my own, so I don't have enough time to practice with it, and it's just so tiny, and try to wrap my hands around it and all.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to a mandolin. It really is really similar. But to try to play it without the frets and trying to get the bow work down, and even my bow work on a cello, I've somewhat got it down. But on violin, I'm just god awful.
Well, I mean, it takes a lot just to be able to play one instrument. The fact that you can even do more than one is pretty cool.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not about how many you can play. It's just about how well you play the one you need to play.
True. Yeah, people always pick on me, why do you play open tune bar chords on the guitar? Why don't you just learn standard? And I look at them, I'm like, pick up a bass and let's have a contest. It's like, shut up. Well, speaking of things not coming easily or difficult, tell me about Let Me Go Easy.
Yeah, Let Me Go Easy is a pretty cool one. It is a longer song. I believe it's the longest song on the album. So it's more of a rocky song, more of a southern rock song. It's kind of inspired by Allman Brothers a little bit. We had a couple really great instrumentalists. Actually, one of them was Gabe Lee, the Americana country singer. He's a buddy of mine, and he's awesome. He played a little organ on it. We also had somebody else play organ as well. We had Mr. Nobody from Dead Cinema, the rock band out of Houston. He came up and he played slide guitar on that. And it was awesome. It's very, very Allman Brothers-y kind of sound, and it's an awesome song. It comes right before Whiskey Ain't Talking, which everyone can see. Or I guess it's already out by the time of this release. So of this podcast release, it's messing me up too.
I know. It's like doing a time machine in your mind.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, at that point, I mean that song is like telling a girl, I'm not the best guy for you. You're a good person, and I'm a bit of a troublemaker and a hellraiser. And at this point, I wasn't sober yet, and I think this was at the point when I was just about to be the worst part of my drinking and my drug addiction and all that. I'm saying you need to, we need to be far, far, far away, and I am not strong enough to break up with you. We've done it before. We just get back together. I think if someone here is going to say we need to break up, it's going to be you, and you better do it now. I'm just asking that, you let me down easy, and then, get the hell away for your own good, It's kind of on one hand, it's kind of a young high schooler kind of saying, I'm kind of a troublemaker and I'm all this. But on the other hand, in more of a deeper tone, more real, it's saying, hey, I love you, I care about you, and I don't want you to get hurt being around me or anything like that. You deserve to find someone much better than me. And it's definitely one of my favorite tunes. And actually, Mr. Nobody says it's his favorite song on the album as well.
So it comes with high praise.
Right.
Well, if to close out the episode, which song should we do between Let Me Go Easy or Use Somebody?
Let Me Go Easy is about 6 minutes long.
Oh, okay. So we wouldn't be letting the episode go easy if we did that. So you want to go with Use Somebody?
Sure.
Awesome. Charlie, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Yeah, me too. It was fun.
It's nice that, we're doing this when it's not in the middle of a pandemic, I think, and more people are able to come see you play, and you're able to go more places. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've had, this year, including what's up to come, damn near 100 shows this year, 100, full shows this year. And it's been great. I've had so many people help. Independence Entertainment just, got on the Charlie Cope Suicide Squad of team members. And, it's just been awesome. And all the fans that have come out and bought tickets or just come out and bought the T-shirts and listened to the music and requested me on the radio. It's been amazing. It's mind blowing.
Well, that's great to see, man. And we're rooting for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next.
Thanks, man. Me too. And I'm looking forward to Volume 3.
Oh, not as much as I am, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I am looking forward to that as well. Charlie, you take care, man. And this is Use Somebody.
Talk. Oh, but darling, if I could, well, I know, 'cause I walk that walk. Darling, you don't look so good. Did you go out again last night? 'Cause I'm hearing allegations of you getting into a fight somewhere down near College Station. Sounds like you could use somebody, anybody. Sounds like you could use somebody, anybody. Just not me, just not me. It's okay, I am a stand, 'cause it's driving me stir crazy, thinking you found a brand new man, calling anybody else baby. It's okay, 'cause I've been there. Lord knows I burned the gate down. I've done my share of coke and drinking down in Houston. But you're the one who made me give up the crown. Sounds like you could use somebody, anybody. Sounds like you could use somebody, anybody. Just not me, just not me,
just not me.
oh, oh, just not me,
Just not me.
just not me.